Ashley, you want to watch and make sure the restream comes up?
Yep, I'm pulling it up now. Still loading.
All right. Well, that's why we
There it
have.
went.
You're paying for Go High Level every month. You log in, you poke around, you feel a little overwhelmed, and you log back out. The leads pile up, the follow-ups don't happen, and your CRM just sits there, collecting digital dust. That's exactly why the 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge was built. One action inside your GHL back office every day for 14 days. By the end, you'll know your system. You'll trust your system. Simplify, clean up, automate, build workflows that work when you aren't. Delegate, step into CEO mode. The 14-day Simplified GHL Challenge begins the third Monday of every month. Scan the code to reserve your spot. For Go High Level every month.
Alrighty. Good morning, and welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm Coleen Stubbs.
Coleen, make sure you're recording.
You can't just push record from your end. That was awesome. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. I'm Coleen Stubbs. I am the founder of Simplified CEO Systems. And the commercial we just watched is for my 14-day Simplified Go High Level Challenge. I hold that challenge every month. It begins on the third Wednesday or the third Monday of the month, which next month, September, starts tomorrow. The challenge will be on the 21st. And in those 14 days, we actually go in and we do a different task every day inside your Go High Level. And what that does is it gives you clarity and confidence in what's actually going on behind the scenes of your business. No more opening Go High Level and being confused. No more feelings of overwhelm and dread when you think you need to go in and do something in your CRM. We actually go in and do these things through video tutorial and also through a standard operating procedure that's a PDF. So you have two different ways that you can learn each task. It is self-paced challenge, and we get great feedback from it. Lots and lots of people have really enjoyed that. So welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. Today our guest is my good friend, Carl Lucchi. Are you in here, Carl? I do not see you. There you are. Carl Lucchi and I have been connected for probably well over a year, I would say. We've sat in many meetings together. We've had a lot of fun together is the biggest thing for me. But the topic that Carl's bringing to us today is really near and dear to my heart because I have very strong opinions about it, which is hard to imagine, but I do have strong opinions about this. Good morning, Lil. Welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. Also, everybody, I forgot to say, please make sure that you utilize the chat. This is a networking event. It is also a live podcast. Utilize the chat, drop all of your information in. Just know that I'm not the responsible one. You are the responsible one. You need to save the chat before the end of the podcast so that you can connect with people on here. This is a no spam zone. People aren't putting their information in the chat to be added to your email list. They put their information in the chat so that you can connect. Make sure that you connect. If there's somebody that speaks that resonates with you, their information is interesting, reach out and get in a call with them. Get to know them as a person. Don't just spam them. We're past the point of spamming in life. Carl, welcome to Monday Morning Business Foreplay. Would you please tell us? I know you're going to give us some business history, but I want a little bit of personal history about you to let people know who you are so that they can find things in your life that resonate with them as well.
Okay. Well, first of all, thanks for having me today, Colleen. And Colleen and both Oleg are partners in my partnership, the I Refuse to Fail partnership, and are great partners. And but a little background on me. Let's see. I was born and raised in Florida. I'm still in Florida. I've never moved from Florida. And when people visit here on the Gulf beaches, they say, "Where do you vacation?" And I say, "I'm here." And so that's pretty much what I what I do. And I almost became, when I was a kid, a chamber of commerce for for local, people traveling to the Gulf beaches where I lived, because they didn't know where to go, and they would take me. So I got to go to a lot of places free, like Disney World and places like that. But I'm in the Tampa Bay area of Florida. So is that I'm married, had 8 great years of marriage and been together about 39. Just kidding. All 39 have been great. But I have no children of my own, but I raised 3 of my wife's children, and they're just like my kids. And so on a personal note, that's pretty much, I think, all I want to divulge at this time.
I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect. And for people who don't know, I'm actually a Floridian as well. I was born in Orange County, and I'm going to age myself a minute. I was born in Orange County Memorial when it was Orange County, not Orlando. So that was a hot minute ago. I was actually raised down on Fort Myers Beach. Love the area, love to vacation there. Do not want to live there like Carl does. Too humid and the mosquitoes are too big. Lil, I know you're also down in Florida. So talk to us a little bit about your business background, Carl. You have one of the things that drew me to you on a personal level, I want to say, or made me more interested in you was your great business history. I was extremely close to my father. He was a great businessman as well. And a lot of the things that you've done really seem to resonate the same way that my dad's business history resonated with me. So share a little bit about your business history so that we know that you are actually a business expert.
Okay. Well, of course, a lot of people call themselves experts, but I've been very fortunate in life to have some great mentors. One of them, as you said, Coleen, was my dad. And unfortunately, when you're a kid, your parents don't know anything, right? I mean, what do you know? Okay. And, but after they passed away, and he died at the age of 82, I started, all of a sudden, the things he was teaching me or taught me about business started coming back. And they made no sense to me when I was younger. But he was really a master salesman. He really was. And he didn't sell the conventional method of other people selling. And he taught me that if you create a buying environment, people will ask you for what they have. And that's kind of what he told me. There's a whole process to that. But I've got story after story after story about my dad. And then I went to work for, when I was 16, my dad encouraged me to go to work for a company called Publix Markets, which was a grocery chain. Started off as a package boy. Ended up being their youngest manager at the time. They only had 100 stores. Now they're a $4 billion company. And I got to know the owner personally, and he was a big impact on my life, my sales attitude, everything that I do. He was just an amazing man, probably 50 years ahead of his time in business. And then my final corporate working job was with a man named Stuart Arnold, who was a former owner of the Auto Trader publication. Some of you all may or may not know about the Buy Sell magazine that was in like 7-Elevens and Circle K's and things like that. And he sold that for an estimated $100 million to Cox Broadcasting. And he hired me after that. He started a television production company and cable company called CPN Television, and he hired me to develop businesses for him. So I had over $100 million to play with and build businesses. And his attitude was, I don't care if we build 10 and 8 of them fail. If 2 of them make it, we have another Auto Trader. So that was quite a working experience. I learned a tremendous amount from him. Very difficult to work for, but sometimes those people are the best people to learn from. And after I left that company, he more or less just decided he didn't want to work anymore. I didn't want to go to work for corporate anymore. And so I started going to these networking things. Somebody invited me to a networking meeting. I had no idea what that was. And I went to a local one and I thought, well, this is interesting, but I don't get it. But being a business developer, I got to find out more. So I went to the guy who owned it and I said, can I have one of these one-to-one things with you and find out a little bit? So I was talking to him. He said he was going to quit the networking organization. He had over, 6,000 people in the Tampa Bay area that went to these free events. And I just couldn't understand how he was making any money. And he said he wasn't. And so I said, well, why would you do this? And he said, well, I do it so that I can align myself with people that I know, like, and trust to help other people. I said, oh, that makes sense. So being that he was going to quit, I started my own organization, Tampa Bay Networkers. And since then, I've owned, I've owned a total of 3 business networking organizations. And so that's my background in a thumbnail.
I love that. And I think that networking means so many different things. It's such a broad, I mean, you can go from BNI to NPN to NRG to all these different places. Some are free, some you're paying a lot of money, some you get in and you're like, why in the heck am I even in here? For me, I don't really enjoy networking to network. Just to, I think our chamber has networking once a month. We go have a $10 lunch, listen to somebody give a talk, and then everybody just mingles. And for me, that's not productive. I know that that's a different opinion. A lot of people like to be busy meeting lots of people, and there are a lot of people that believe if you meet 1,000 people, then 10 of them are going to be your ideal client or whatever. And so it's a numbers game. They're working down to get all those numbers checked off so they can get the correct ratio to get clients. I've never been that kind of person. I've built 37 businesses. This is my 9th business. They've all been successful. I've sold them all for a profit. And I just had a different theory about it. But Carl, let's talk about why networking doesn't work for most people.
Well, it really depends on what they're networking for. As you said, you don't like networking just to network. I understand that. But I found through research, which I actually stopped my own organization in 2017 because I had over 3,000 people in the Tampa Bay area. And I thought, this is just not working. I mean, it's not giving people what they were coming there for. And I had cloned mine. I didn't know any better. I ran my events and ran everything just like what I had been to before. And by the way, when I started at networking in 2010, there were only about 3 major networking groups, BNI being still the biggest. And so so I didn't have a lot of competition. So we filled rooms, but I just didn't. It got to be where it was kind of like a lunch bunch or a breakfast bunch. It was like people were bored and they needed something to do, and so they went and they wanted to meet people and socialize and stuff like that, which is fine. I get it, okay. But I think people network for different reasons. Some people, they were just bored, okay, and they just go because they want to show up. Majority of people, because I did some research on this, started in 2017. I stopped networking and research for a year and a half before I went back into it. I found that in a survey that I sent out, that believe it or not, nobody goes to a networking meeting to buy anything. I've never had anybody on a survey. How many of you go to networking meetings? And you can raise your hand if you network. Do you go there to buy something? Geez, I can't wait to get there because I'm looking to buy something. Nobody does that. But most people go there to sell something. And to me, both of those are wrong. I mean, and that for me, that's wrong. Nobody, if people are going there to sell something and nobody's going there to buy anything, what's going to happen? Nothing. So why do it? Okay. And by the way, networking isn't for everybody. It just isn't. Really, the true networking for business, I feel, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not something you go and you do once. Okay. And if you go there and you do what they call, I hate the word elevator pitch to this day. I do not do those in our group. We don't do pitches because nobody's there to buy anything and nobody's paying attention, and nobody, don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. Nobody cares what you do. Okay. In your elevator pitch, they really don't. They don't care what I do. They care what they do. They can't wait to get in front of you to tell everybody what you do. And so why do that? So there's a lot of things that I think that have been done incorrectly in networking events, but everybody's got to do their own thing. I'm not dumping on other people's events. They can do what they want to do. That's fine. Some of them are very successful at getting a lot of people. How effective they are, I don't know, but they get a lot of people.
But here's the thing, Carl, I'm going to interrupt you here and I'm going to say,
sure.
I do not working, like Lil just said. And then I do attend a couple of networking. But my not working every morning at 7 a.m., I have coffee with my girlfriends virtually.
That's fine. That's
These
great.
are people that I met through networking that are in different states or different countries. People from France, Sarah comes sometimes. And it's just a fun thing. And of course, we're building relationships at the same time. They know more about me on a very personal level because it's more like girlfriends. But then I also go to a couple different networking. I can honestly say that it takes showing up more than once. It takes getting to know people and building relationships. I can tell you a lot about Oleg um, because I'm in the same networking group as you and Oleg. And I've had many conversations with him. And I'm not saying one-on-ones, just friendly chats in passing, even. And I know he has kids. I know he has a son and a daughter he's extremely proud of. I know he's very close with his family. There are a lot of things. And I think that when we do the relationship building instead of the networking, and like you said, it's a long game. It's definitely not something that happens quick, but when we do that, then the thought becomes when we go into a room where there are a lot of people, the thought becomes, oh, I know this girl and da 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 da, and she could really help your business. It's not who do I know that could help you? Because you're a step ahead of that in the fact that you already have that good relationship and they know you on a deeper level. Um, that's been my experience. And when I step into networking, I go in looking for people that I can help and understanding that other people are coming, hoping that they're coming to find people to help. But honestly, more often than not, people are there to keep busy. And I cannot stand sitting in a room with a cat whisperer. And if anybody hears a cat whisper, it's not personal. This isn't a personal thing. It's that I'm here to build a CRM business, not to talk about my cats. I have 5 cats. I like cats, but I'm not a cat whisperer, right? And I feel like the cat whisperer is the same way. They don't want to come in and sit and listen to a bunch of structured things about business, right? But if we get to know each other on a little bit deeper level, then should I cross paths with somebody who needs their service? That's different. But that's my thoughts. I want this to be an open discussion. You guys make sure that you chime in and tell us your thoughts. Carl, back to you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the two things you hit on there that I agree with is, people, like I said before, people network for different reasons, and that's fine. You can't control people. You can't make them do what you want them to do. I've never been able to do that. Somebody can figure that out, let me know. But they network for different reasons, and sometimes they are social. I mean, like you talk about with your girlfriends, but you did not all of a sudden say, "Oh, that girl looks interesting. She's going to be one of my people I'm going to talk to." You had to get to know, like, and trust them. Had to get to know them. And that's why I created a partnership called I Refuse to Fail Partnership. And we've only got, what, I think 5 or 6 people in there right now. I've turned people down that wanted to be in my partnership because I have to get to know, like, and trust those people. Oleg and you being 2 of them that are in the room this morning. And I know more about Oleg than I want to know. Okay. Now, I love Oleg to death. He's great. In fact, he's the one that's been helping me redevelop and redesign our website. And Coleen, I've learned every time I talk to Coleen, I learn something new about her. Okay. And so I think that's great. So we do that. Our purpose is for business. It's 95% business and 5% social, but we are social. We do have fun. But the goal with me is I don't want to waste time. And I think there's a lot of time that's wasted in a lot of networking groups and organizations. And I'm not a big fan of speed networking. I mean, I met my wife in a bar, okay, but a very nice bar. It wasn't a dungy bar. It was a very nice bar. But I met her there. But I didn't go up and say, "Hi, I'm Carl. I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. We need to get married." Then we went and got married. It just didn't happen that way. I went over and I just asked her a whole bunch of questions about her. I wanted to find out about her. Yeah, she was attractive. I didn't have to answer that one. But I just started asking questions. And then she asked me questions. And then we got to talking. And then we dated. And then we lived together. Then we got married. Okay. But it was not, hi, I'm Carl, let's get married. And you do the same thing with business, or if you're doing it for social reasons, same thing. But I think people, a lot of people miss the boat. Some people, I think, network maybe to get a date. Oh, geez, there's a nice one. I'm gonna find out more about her or him. Personally, I think that's a waste of time. But I think instead of networking, a lot of people should just go advertise their business. If they're doing it for business, and they're doing it improperly. If they're not focusing on, they don't have a goal when they're there. And if you're going there to sell people that are at the event, and you're going to 15 or 20 events a week or whatever, it seems like your business is networking. I mean, when are you doing any work? You're spending all your time networking. Even a blind squirrel, I guess, gets a nut once in a while, but that's a tough way to do business, to try to find that right person's going to buy what you have. But as a business consultant, the reason why I started networking was I realized that, I know you all aren't going to believe this, but I don't know everything. I know, hard to believe, but I don't know everything. And I figured if I had a networking organization, and I had a Coleen, and I had an Oleg, and I had, Lil, and I had different people that had different expertise, I could better refer them to my experts that I know, like, and trust. In fact, I created something, and I Refuse to Fail for our partners that are in there, and it's called My Trusted Connections. And if anybody is in the directory, which, by the way, it's open and free for everybody to look at, you can see who's in there. You'll be able to connect with anybody and everybody that's in there. It's a great way to connect. You can connect with me, Coleen, Oleg. So, and you can get your own business listing free. You don't have to become a partner to be in there. So it's just more exposure for you. The idea of I Refuse to Fail, I think that people need tools. They need things to utilize. Coleen has Go High Level. Okay, well, we've created a tool, but I also want people to attend our events. So you can attend the event, you can request to attend, you can check out. Oleg has now got his own events that he's putting on there, and they don't have to be I Refuse to Fail events. It might be his own. He's doing one coming up on September 3rd, and you can go right there and you can join his event. Okay. And then Coleen can put her events in there, but we are just now redeveloping the platform to make it more of a networking tool for people. And so I think that sometimes these groups, their goal is to make money. Okay. I mean, obviously they have a business. It's to make money. I get it. BNI, they're, terrific at what they've done, making money. That's not my goal with this. My goal is to connect people. But I also do training on networking. And it's like, for instance, I tell people, don't give me a referral. I don't want them. I don't want a referral. I'm not going to give you one, and I don't want you to give me one. You better know me, okay? And I tell people to make connections instead of doing referrals. Everybody says, what's the difference? Well, it's a big difference. If I was talking with Kathy, and Kathy had a need, and I thought it was something she was struggling with her Go High Level, I would say, Kathy, when would be a good time for me to have Coleen contact you? Because number one, I want to find out, does she really want the help, or is she just talking? Okay. I'm not going to say call Coleen. You don't know Coleen. I know you do, but you don't know Coleen, and you're going to call her. The average is 6%. You get about 100 referrals, and I get over 100 referrals a year, I've been told. And, I told George he's going to call you. No, George isn't going to call me because he thinks Carl's going to sell it. Okay. So I only refer people that I know, like, and trust are going to take care of my potential client the way they should be taken care of. So if Kathy says, she can use my calendar here to set some time, or give me a call or email, whatever it is, then I get a hold of Coleen, and I say, Coleen, Kathy needs some help. I don't know your business. She is having trouble with the same system you have. Would you please get a hold of Kathy? Oh, thank you, Carl, so much. So now what have I done? Now I'm a hero to Kathy because I'm connecting her with somebody she needs that wants to talk to her. Coleen, I'm a hero with her because now I've given her a potential business client, okay? And then So we got 3 of us that are happy. So I'm a hero and each one of them are heroes. A referral is just a referral. Okay. You might as well just take an airplane and drop business cards, I mean, if you're going to do that, it just doesn't work. So, so I really believe in making that connection. Is it easy? No. Networking is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. You have to do it right. And it's not about the number of people. It's not like we have to have 180 people in a room. Coleen and I feel the same way. We don't even like having a lot of people in the room. I'm fine with 6 or 16 or 26, but 16 is my sweet spot. After 16, it's like herding cats. Okay. We get more accomplished with the people that are there than the number of people. So what? I had 500 people in the room. So what? How many of them are you going to meet? You're not going to meet that many. So I just think that a lot of people, networking doesn't work for them because they're doing the same thing the same way and expecting different results. And that they're not open-minded enough to actually take the time to speak to somebody who understands networking, me or somebody else, or one of my partners. They all know how to network. Talk to somebody, and we're all here to help you because we want to find out if you are an ideal partner, possibly for however you refuse to fail. But, I tell everybody up front, if you're not going to do it right, don't do it. It's just like anything else in business. I hope that you feel in your business that you're going to do everything right, not that you're just going to do it just to do it, So if you're not going to network, do something. I mean, advertise. There's billboards, there's Google, there's all kinds of places you can advertise. And I'm not saying that's bad because networking isn't for everybody. A lot of people are looking for instant gratification, and networking ain't one of those. So, that's it. So let me ask you a question. How many times have you signed up to attend an event but didn't go just because you didn't feel like it, or I don't know, something else came up, or something you'd rather do, so you didn't go, but you signed up? I'm just curious. Just raise your hand on the screen. Okay, I got it. All right. So let me run something by you. And I used to do these when I was testing out my new formula for networking. I asked that question. I said, all right. So a lot of times people say, well, I had somebody that wanted to be a potential client, so I blew off the networking because that's a potential client. Bird in the hand's worth 2 in the bush, right? So I blew off the networking. I said, okay, so let's run through that scenario. So you had somebody said they might want to do business. And so you blew off the networking meeting that they wanted to meet at the same time. And you went there and they wasted your time for an hour. Okay. You found out that they were just trying to get information and they weren't going to be a potential client. And it just happened to be at the networking meeting that day that you missed, somebody there that you wanted to connect with that could have been potential business for you, or might have known somebody that had potential business for you. So now you lost twice, right? Okay. So it's like the old saying, you were at the airport when your ship came in. Okay. Now, most of the time, people want to do business with people who are busy, not people who say, I'm available 24/7. Let's meet. Whenever you want to meet, let's meet. So if you had a networking event at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time and you knew you were going to be there and somebody says, hey, can I meet you at 3? I think I might want what you have. I'm not sure. I'd like to talk about it. You say, geez, I've got an event that I've got scheduled. It's a business appointment for me, just like anything else. I have this event I'm going to. You can either join me and we can meet after, or could we meet tomorrow, or could we meet an hour before? No, I'm dying at 6:30, so I need to meet with you now. Okay, blow off the event. That's a good excuse. Okay, the person's dying or they're flying to Europe. Yeah, there are reasons why you blow off the event. But if it's just because that's when they wanted to meet with you, find out if they will meet another time. Most people respect people who are busy. And if they look like they'd be an ideal person for the event, do them a favor and invite them to the event. And by the way, whose responsibility at the networking event is it to bring people in? It ain't me. I'm just running the platform. It's all the people who attend the event. It's their responsibility. If they like the event, they like the people, they should be sharing it with people and inviting them to that favorite event. Whether it's my event, BNI, I don't care where it's at. It's really not I used to say in my live events before Zoom, we'd have 40, 45 people in the room, and I'd say, how many people, would like to meet some new people? And everybody, yeah, I'd like to meet some new people. Well, I'm not standing out in the middle of the highway with a sign that says, come on in, I got people that want to meet you. Not my job, okay? I'm providing a platform for you to come and network. So I had what I call the 12 by 12 formula. We met every week, but I said, if 12 of you out of the 40 only invite one person a month, just a month, not every week, one person that attends the meeting, everybody in the room is going to have at least 144 new people to network with. Would that be beneficial to your business? Potentially. Everybody said yes. I said, well, then just invite one person a month, not even a week. I mean, I'm not greedy, but if you invited somebody, just think if all 40 did that, everybody would be meeting a lot of new people. Because what's happened with networking is because there are so many organizations now, and there's so many, it's like churches. You started with one, and now there's all kinds of denominations, right? So everybody does it different. There are so many people and so many groups that it gets real thin, and then you end up not having new people, fresh blood come into your events. So I think it's very important that if you have an event that you like or a group that you like, dedicate some time to that group. Not a lot, if you spend an hour a week just networking, because you're helping others meet people that you know. It ain't all about you. Okay.
Well, and I would add to that too. Don't do an hour a week and then skip a few weeks. Like,
no,
literally
right.
Be consistent for a month. Do an hour a week for a month. Actually do an hour a week for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
To try it out and see. At the end of 6 weeks whether it's a good fit for you or not. Now, when it comes to narrowing down groups that actually matter, that move the needle in your business, that have the right people in it for you, there are different groups that do different things. One of the ones I really like is called MPN, and it has a list of disciplines, daily disciplines. The purpose behind the disciplines is to show that you're consistent in your efforts, and to build you as a person. And everybody's in there to build themselves as a person. But when you are sitting in a room with people who care enough about themselves and their business to consistently show up that way, to consistently improve, then that is a good room to be in. I attended a networking meeting, and a young man got my contact information, got on a call with me and said, yeah, I'm an international speaker. When can I get on your podcast? That was the whole leading line. And I was like, oh, really? Well, where have you spoken? Oh, well, I've spoken in France and in this place. And I said, okay. And where did you speak there? Well, I spoke in France, I told you. And I'm like, okay. So, and the thing is that he just grabbed a spot on my calendar. It wasn't productive. I actually blocked him after that because there was nothing behind the person to substantiate who he was or to make him somebody that I want to rub shoulders with, that I'm interested in building businesses with. And so there are ways to choose your room, right? When you get in a room, if it's one, I got in another room and there were more than one attendee that did the same thing I did or that sold Go High Level. Clearly, I have my own take on that. But when it came my turn to share what I did, they cut me off. And I was like, okay. I mean, I got 20 seconds out of 90 seconds to even, and that clearly wasn't the room for me. And I didn't go back. And the person that owns it actually pursued me and asked me multiple times to come back. And I finally just said, look, this was my experience. And she said, well, if you'd have told me, then I would have addressed it then, which is fine. But that wasn't the room for me. I don't want to be in a room where everybody feels like they're competition instead of feeling like maybe you resonate differently. Carl, you had an input.
Yeah, that's a good point. This happened to me more than once. How many realtors do you think there are out there? Or how many chiropractors? Or, there are a lot. You could throw a rock and hit a realtor in any direction, right? So we'd have our live events, and I had a young lady call me one day, and she said, how many people do you have come to your event? Well, first of all, why does that matter? But I didn't say that. I said, we have, quite a few people, 30 to 40 people usually every week. And she said, oh, that's great. She said, do you have any realtors? I said, oh, yeah, we've got 4 or 5 realtors that come. Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, then that's not for me. I said, oh, well, why? Because I'm sure you got people you already know, like, and trust. I said, well, aren't you the best at what you do? If you don't think you are, you better start thinking different. Okay. Because not everybody wants the same realtor. I mean, why not you come and meet people, right? Just come and talk to us about what you do and meet other realtors. You might even be able to align yourself with the other realtors. I'm a business consultant, okay? I'm not a coach. If you need a coach, I'll get you one. I'm a consultant, so there's a difference. But I invite coaches and consultants. I love it when they come to my event. Trust me, not everybody likes Carl, okay? Right, Oleg? So, not everybody likes Carl. So maybe somebody else is going to align better with one of the other consultants, right? So I love having them come in. I even meet with them because I can learn from them. Maybe they can learn from me. Maybe we can learn from each other, right? So I think people shouldn't necessarily shy away. That being said, we had a gentleman that I met with that comes to my event regularly that is in the Eugene. He's in the film business. He creates movies. And I told Eugene, he asked me, he says, I'm having a hard time, getting people to meet people, the right people. I said, well, try to find groups that are in your industry. There's got to be one. Let me tell you something. Pick 3 letters of the alphabet. There's the name of a group. Okay. I don't care whether it's BNI, NPI, ABC, it doesn't matter. So you can just about find RGA, any of them, right, Lil? And so, just pick 3 letters. So I do think you need to find people and groups that align with you. Okay. Now, anybody that says, a lot of times I'll ask people, I'll say, who's your target market? Anybody with skin? No, it's not your target market. I don't care if you sell Mary Kay. It's just not anybody with skin. Okay. You need to have a demographic or whatever. You have to have a target. So, but that goes into the consulting aspect. But with the networking, you're right, Coleen. You want to go where you find people. Now, you might have to go to a half a dozen events, but I really think you need to narrow it down to 2 or 3, or maybe 4, I guess. But I would keep it to 2 or 3 groups that you really like, where you feel there's value there for you, and that you can add value to help other people, and just dedicate yourself to them, because there's only so many hours in the day, and you got to work sometime. So,
exactly. And so in the chat, Delilah said that she's had more success joining classes or groups she's interested in, like Toastmasters, pottery, etc., than actual networking groups, and making friends with the other people. And then naturally they get curious about what she does. And I absolutely agree with that. She also asked Oleg, if she said she can't make it this Thursday, is your networking every Thursday? And I do not know the answer to that. And you're
Yeah,
muted.
Should. You said you knew me pretty well. You should have the answer.
You just started this, but nice try.
No, the answer is that I believe, not that I'm against consistency or anything like that, but I believe in flexibility. And sometimes people can't make it. If you say you do it every Tuesday at 4 p.m., they can't make it. So I try to mix my stuff up a little bit. I'm just starting it anyway. So people can have variety of days they can choose from, and also there's going to be variety of formats. And so you're invited to come check it out. It's going to be a different kind of event. It's not like anything you've seen before. Everybody does Zoom events, Speed Network, others. I'm not doing Zoom. I'm doing my own application. So if you want to check it out, feel free. Thank you.
Yeah, and so
Oleg, can you check your URL? The URL you put there? It's not working.
I put the URL in.
Oh, Colleen.
You have to remove the dot at the end. I
Oh,
tried to.
Okay, thank you.
No,
Sorry.
there is no dot at the end.
There is a dot in the end in the one that you gave me that I added to my calendar. So maybe it needs a dot back.
well, it's also on our events page on I Refuse to Fail. You can join right from there.
There you
Weird.
go.
Yeah, there is a dot. I see. It will become.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't have a dot. Yeah, it's just NTWRK, easy to remember.
Yeah. Anyways,
Thank
this
you.
will be my first time going to Oleg's as well. So, and I'm going to try it. Now, I think what you said, Carl, is actually works well for me. I have a networking I do Friday morning. I refuse to fail on Wednesdays. I have a promotional one that I go to on Thursdays. And then on occasion, I will go to an NRG meeting. And
Okay.
that's it. I meet enough people. But it took a long time. It took 3 years of being online and really sorting through groups and being like, no, I don't. And there's a difference too. When I said that about the cat lady earlier, it wasn't like I don't like cat ladies. That's not it. It's that I'm there to talk business and to help grow businesses, um, and not to sit through somebody's reading of somebody else's dogs.
Yeah.
And I love animals. I live on a farm. I have sheep and chickens and cows and all the things, turtles on occasion. Just depending
Well,
on.
Colleen, I think that also, I mean, I absolutely stopped going to some of the speed networking events where they said, okay, we're going to start with an icebreaker question. What is your favorite color? Who cares? Okay. I mean, they have these icebreaker questions. What's your favorite cake? I mean, yeah, okay. For social networking or dating, maybe that works. Okay. I just don't think it's right for business. Now, to make a comment on what Oleg said, obviously, let Oleg run his events any way he wants to run them. They're his events, they're not my events, right? I learned a long time ago, um, psychological, people like consistency. They like to know where they're going to be at a certain time on a certain day, every week or every month. And because it's easier for them to plan that way instead of like, oh, geez, there's this, I'm going to go to that. Okay. That's okay. You can do it that way. But I learned a long time ago, and this wasn't Carl's idea. This is what everybody else had said, that people are unfortunately like sheep. You gotta get them to go where you want them to go. So if you have it at the same time and they know what to expect, then they'll show up more often. But I do understand that if you do have things at different times, and that's why we're all, by the way, I'm having our other partners be able to have other events on other days. And Coleen can even put this one in there if she wants. Now that we've got that set up, people can go there and see different events that are on different times, different days. Go where you want to go till you find something that you really like.
Well, and
then
I agree.
attend those
People are,
events.
we are creatures of habit. At least for me, I am. I know every Monday morning I do Monday Morning Business Foreplay. And I was speaking with my admin this morning. They're like, well, are we doing it on the holiday? I do it on the holidays too, unless it were 4th of July or New Year's. But the smaller holidays I do. I guess Christmas I wouldn't either. But I'm just consistent. And I built this as my podcast and networking because I love it. I love meeting people. I love taking the opportunity of bringing somebody who has a business tool, resource, or strategy and allowing them to share it with my audience. I don't care if I have 6 people in here or if I have 46 people.
Same
And
way.
that number fluctuates. It depends on how much the co-host shares and how much I share and how much the topic resonates at that time and whether it's a holiday or not. There are a lot of factors that go into that, but consistency is king or queen in this case. And then also I take all of my replays and put them on Spotify, put them on YouTube, share them on social media, as well as sharing their lead magnet or their event in every place that I post a replay. I share that, and it needs to be evergreen so these people can pull people in years down the road. And I've had that happen. I've had people come back to me and say, hey, I went back to your podcast from January of 2023 and I can't get into their PDF. And I'm like, well, let me go figure out why, because people don't understand it needs to be evergreen. One of the things we talked about last week on here is that when you are a guest on a podcast, that stays live forever. It's not like making a post on social media. This stays searchable on Google and everywhere else forever, and you can go get those links. And so it's really important that you show up and have something that's evergreen here. Does anybody have any questions? Let's open the room for questions or comments, input. Oleg has a question. Imagine that, Oleg.
Yeah. No, it's actually, I just wanted to ponder both you and Carl. And, on one hand, and I'm trying to be here, it's not like I'm being that naive, but at the same time, the question does have validity. On one hand, you guys were saying that, coming to networking just to chit chat about life, nobody cares, and so on and so forth, which is true. Okay. On the other hand, you say if you're going to come and you need to talk about, so people kind of get to know you and stuff like that so they can trust you. In that case, they would do business with you. It seems like it's a contradiction to each possibility. On one hand, they couldn't care less about me. On the other hand, I need to talk to them about something other than my business. So how do these two reconcile?
Right, sure.
Okay.
I love that question. I am going to take the floor first, Carl, because it's my show, so take that.
Go ahead.
I'm going to say this, that if you just pop in here and say you're a realtor, if you pop in and give me something to remember you by, then like I'm a realtor and I only work 4 days a week because I fish for big mouth bass every other day. Okay, well, that's just a little something that's going to make you stand out in my mind. And so it's the same as when I'm building a website for somebody. I actually had this experience with a dentist, and he showed me a bunch of websites he loved. And I'm like, okay. And then I went and built him one. And he's like, I hate the one you built. And I'm like, okay, what do you hate about it? And he's like, it's not at all like the ones I showed you. And I says, okay, let's go back to the ones that you showed me. He's like, yeah, and I'll show you again. And I pulled him up and he says, okay, go to the one that we saw last time. And I said, there's 8 of them and I don't know which one you liked because they're all exactly the same.
Okay.
So I
don't
wanted it to be
disagree.
something different. So, and then he understood that a little bit more. Take it, Carl.
Okay. In my business consulting, and I'll say the same in networking, is I used to tell people if you're not distinct at what you do, you might become extinct at what you do. And I think everybody needs to try to find something that makes them different than their competition. And I used to use the example of the realtors. If you have 5 realtors and they all stand up in front of the room and you ask number 1 what they do, I help people buy and sell properties. Next one, I help people buy and sell properties. All of them. If you get to the 5th one and they say I'm a property acquisition specialist, what in the hell is a property acquisition specialist? It's somebody that helps people buy and sell properties, but it made them just a little bit different. Okay. It was something that made them stand out. We used to have an insurance guy. I can't remember his name now, but this was like eons ago.
Oh, we need the name, Carl.
I beg your pardon?
We need the name.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. George. So George came to the meeting. It was an insurance guy. Everybody else who was an insurance guy came in a coat and tie. He wore a Hawaiian shirt. I couldn't even tell you who the other ones were. Lil, you probably know who it was. But he used to go to the networking events. I don't remember who he was now, but it made him stand out. Okay. And so it doesn't have to even be anything big. Also, in your message, as Coleen said, if you say something that makes you interesting and you want to talk with them, then it's going to draw you need to draw people's attention to you. And you can't do it by just being a bump on a log. I mean, who wouldn't want to talk to Oleg? For heaven's sakes, Oleg is different.
Well, and I wanted to talk to Oleg first because of his accent. It set him apart a little bit. And I loved his opinion on a few things. Now, for me,
that's fake, Coleen. He's from Kentucky.
I know better. For me, there are so many people that represent Go High Level that are selling Go High Level, and there are so many people that sell Go High Level for way less than I do. But my goal isn't to sell Go High Level. My goal is to help entrepreneurs build a business and a life they're madly passionate about, and they can't do that if they're stuck inside Go High Level. So I simplify it for them. I take control, I simplify it for them, I get everything automated so they have the freedom to go enjoy their life. And so it's a little bit different than everybody else's Go High Level they do. Andrew, we're throwing it to you. What's your comment or question?
All right, this is fantastic. Great to be here. So, Carl, I don't know if I've been in a room with you before, but I love a lot of what you're saying. I think, especially about the real estate agent, because often what I've heard in the past is sometimes one person will do commercial real estate and the other person will do,
residential.
Residential. So, and the other thing you said about speed networking, I will say, I agree about, what is your favorite ice cream? I mean, I kind of cringe, and I've never done that. I run a speed networking group, and a lot of the people here I know because of it. And then I ended up getting on, having great conversations like with Oleg. So I'm a big proponent of them. The thing about it is, I think like anything in life, it's like you could say I hate water, but then you could say, unless you put a little bit of lemon in lime. So but it's good that you said you said the reason why you don't like speed networking group. So the one thing that I will say that I love about it is if I connect with someone on LinkedIn, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit forward to say, hey, here's my calendar. Let's just have a 30-minute chat. I can invite them into my speed networking group. And this has happened where even people of great stature come in, and then because I'm a co-host, I can hop into any of the rooms and I have an introduction there, one-on-one with them. So I'll just stop there and thank you for.
Well, let me comment on what you just said. When I said I personally don't like it, I've had bad experiences with it. Oleg has created kind of a speed networking event, and I really like it. Okay, so it's not everybody's not always the same. The one thing I have problem with a lot of the speed networking groups is I think that we have 150 people registered. How many of those 150 are you actually going to meet? Maybe 6, maybe 8 anyway, and it's going to be for a very short period of time. But so then it's not about the numbers. Okay, so you can do the same thing at any event. But Oleg has created something that's very clever, and I think that and he's working on it. It's in a process, but I think everybody should try to attend that. Lil, did you have something?
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah. So first
Lil
off, the
knows
speed.
his name. What was the guy's name, Lil?
What the? No, I don't. I would. If you got in a Hawaiian shirt, I'm not gonna. I don't want to listen to him. Guys in funny hats, don't want to listen to him. Really, seriously, you're wasting your time. That's good. There's gonna be 2 guys in the whole room who go, I'm gonna deal with the guy with the Hawaiian shirt. He's selling real estate. Okay, a Hawaiian shirt is silly. This is ridiculous. But that's beside the point. I think a couple of things. The speed networking thing. If you have enough time to actually talk to people, it's great. What I'm finding, and Oleg, I think, corrected this or is fixing this. I'm seeing this. Every time I go to this one, I'm not gonna say who it is. I love the person. Same people. And there could be 100 people in the room. I wind up with the
Right.
same exact people every time. And none of them are people I really want to talk to. They're not selling anything. So there's a couple things that are really important. One, tell a story. You want to be a different realtor? Start your speech with, so last week I sold a house to this couple and they were struggling. They couldn't find a way to get a mortgage. My mortgage rep was amazing. We did this great job. I went in and it was an FHA thing and I had to put all the, went in and figured out, I fixed stuff in the building for them so that they could get the loan. Tell a story about what you did. That right? And the same thing applies with me. Last week we had a book come out. This happened. This person told a story. If you tell a story up front instead of talking about who and what you are and what you do, I doesn't say what I do. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a ghostwriter, all that stuff, right? He usually says. And we publish books. So I'll tell a story about the most recent book we published and how excited the person is and all that. And then they understand what we do. I think that makes you stand out, first off. Secondly, like with Oleg saying, please, if you see that they're the same freaking people every time, just walk out. Just go back to the main room and say, please, there are 100 people in here. How come every week I see the same 4 people? Like, what, dude? I don't want to be friends with them. I'm nice people. I'm trying to meet people. So and then I think it's being different. And there are too many people who do something that's so vague, they have no idea how to tell you what they do. And don't tell me you haven't seen those people because you have. And no offense to the unstuck people, but they're saying help people get unstuck, or I help people find their inner peace. Okay, no one cares. Good news for you.
No, that's
one
not
cares.
it. That's not it, Lil. It's I help them achieve their dreams.
The dreams, yeah. It's so vague and so like, what are they stuck to? The wall? Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want inner peace. No one. No one.
Right. And I
Mostly
think if
women, they
people
don't. They wake up and they say, I'm fat. I can't stop smoking cigarettes. I hate my husband. Like, what are you doing specifically for them? So if you can be very specific in your minute you have to speak, and you can tell a story, like if you do unstuck stuff, talk about a woman that you helped. What did you do to get her unstuck from whatever she was unstuck from? Rather than just say, I help people reach their dreams. What dream? Tell a story
yes,
about a person you helped. Right?
I
Does that
love
make sense?
all of
If you
that.
have one to tell the
Yeah.
story, or make one up.
I
Make one up.
think I'm gonna say yes to everything Lil said, and I'm gonna add to it consistency.
Yeah.
If people don't grasp the fact that you simplify, go high level, the first time you say it, keep saying it for 6 months. Over and over and over in 5 different ways, say the same exact thing over and over and over.
Or look at what they're not getting. What are you not saying that they're not getting? Like,
Yeah,
You know,
and saying it. Well, and maybe it's the audience, or maybe it's the way you're saying it. That's why we come up with different ways of saying it. Maybe it's a different story that you need to tell at the beginning. But the consistency and following those same steps that you just gave is what's going to give you the traction you need to move forward. Oleg, I'm going to give you the table or the mic or whatever.
I'm just gonna
I've got a
just
client. I've got a bus in a minute. I'm
Thanks,
going.
Lil.
It's nothing personal. If I leave in a sec.
All right. Thanks, Lil.
it's a small basically comment I had on the subject of consistency and seeing the same people twice. And like Lil pointed out, yeah, my new app is one of its main components is to prevent if there's 60 or more people in the room. I mean, in the event, you're not going to meet the same person twice. I mean, it's a guaranteed mathematical
Right. It's like
equation.
a bingo ball, right?
But at the same time, I would say for people who do go and when they do meet the same people, don't say the same stuff all the time.
Right.
Okay, at least make it, because if you're in the room with the same person and they have this pre-made speech that they always deliver, it's just, to me, it's the biggest turnoff. It's like, well, you don't have any brain to be able to come up with something, a different way to say the same thing, like you said, Coleen, basically. So I think as long as you do that, then it's not as painful, because otherwise it's like super painful. It's the same person saying the same thing. We just heard it before 2 minutes ago. Complete waste of your time.
I love that because that's the biggest problem I had with the cat lady is I was in 3 rooms with her in a row. And so yours is like a bingo
Right.
wheel, right? You spin it, you get out different people every time. Perfect. I'm excited about that aspect of it. Sarah, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this conversation. I absolutely enjoyed it, whether I agree or not. And I'm sorry Lil left because I was just going to say I don't help people get unstuck, but I do want to help them create their best life. So, so here we are. Yes, I think that I've left a lot of rooms. I'm excited to get into other rooms just because I don't feel that I belong there. And I can take cat ladies, I can take the whisperers, I can take the business. It's just that it's all about each person who is there. It's not about the connection. It's about the I do this and I'm the best and I understand that's part of it, but I'm much more there for the connection. And then the learning more about the business comes on a connect call away from that networking call. And so, yeah, those are my 2 cents. And thank you so much. I absolutely enjoyed this.
Sarah, you have an amazing business and your business plan or strategy is amazing and works on so many different levels. It works very different from a lot of businesses that I've seen because you do focus on the person, on helping the person be their best self and bring their best self. And that involves so many different things. Would you please drop the link to your magazine in the chat while we're having this conversation? Sarah is one of my good friends and she has coffee with me at 7 a.m. sometimes. But I go and participate in Sarah's world, number one, for I don't want to say a safe place, but it's a safe place. It's like your favorite nook at the library, right? Like I go back to this favorite nook, and if I get there and somebody's there, I'm like, okay, I'm out because that's where I want to sit and I want to do my work there. And so I go to a lot of her co-working events to do that, to have that structure that I need to apply myself and get things done. But also, I love her magazine. I know that I can take a Sunday. This Sunday was perfect because it came out, and I can go through and read it and relate to so many different aspects of life through different people and meet people that way too. So make sure you drop that. I don't see that in the chat. Sarah, I want you to drop your magazine
It's
Yeah,
link.
that's what I was
it's
looking at, and I don't see
it's
Sarah.
there.
So what's Sarah's
Not
business?
there. It's in the wrong chat. It must be in the wrong chat because it's not in my chat.
Sarah,
Oh.
what is your business?
Um,
Life Mastery Circle.
Yes, I am the editor of Life Mastery magazine, and I have a membership for midlife women who are actively wanting or starting a side hustle or a business. And it's not about the theory, it's about actually, we have a lot of people that go do courses and do a lot of things, and it's just create a landing page and just put it out there, and a 50-year-old woman isn't necessarily familiar with what a landing page is. So the question is, what the heck is a landing page? And I walk with her. I build it with her if she needs to, and I have tutorials, and I will be there live holding her hand if she needs to. So I'm really, really passionate about helping women starting businesses, not just talking about it or just, yeah. So that's me. I will put the link again for the magazine. Thanks, Coleen.
Yep. There we go. Thank you, Andrew. All righty, you guys,
You're welcome.
this has been super fun. Carl, do you have any closing words for us?
Yeah, it's just even to comment on what Sarah said, find events that you really like and dedicate yourself to those events. I mean, not every event is going to be right for you. Not every platform or the way they do it is going to be right for you, but find something and do it, or don't do it at all. I mean, whatever you do, just do well. If you're better off marketing your business other ways, then do that. But for heaven's sakes, don't make this a chore. It should be an enjoyable event every time you go. And you want to take something away from it. And that's kind of what Colleen's closing remarks are, what she says, So, but we invite anybody that would like to check out our Refuse to Fail, see what we're all about. And, who knows, you might even become a partner sometime. Who knows?
Yeah, Carl, if you want to go ahead and drop that link in the chat again, I did drop it a couple of times, but please go ahead and do that. We are
Okay.
going to skip our signature questions today because we had so much fun chit-chatting. So we're going to just go right past that. And I'm going to thank each of you for coming today and participating in Monday Morning Business Foreplay. If today's conversation has helped you to see something differently, make one clear decision, or take one meaningful step forward, then this hour did exactly what it was designed to do, because clarity creates momentum, and momentum beats motivation every time. Thank you so much, Carl, for sharing your experience and your perspective. And if you found this conversation valuable, then please share it, tag someone who needs to hear it, or invite them to join us next week. We'll see you all next Monday.
Thanks, Colleen.